You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength. Marcus Aurelius, a Roman emperor and Stoic philosopher, penned these words nearly 2 millennia ago, yet they resonate with profound urgency in our modern lives. Welcome to MindForge. Today, we're not just talking about stress or feeling busy. We're tackling a deeper, more pervasive challenge: overwhelm. That sensation of being submerged, mentally saturated, where your cognitive resources feel utterly depleted and burnout looms on the horizon. It's the feeling that the demands of your life, work, personal, digital, are exceeding your capacity to cope, let alone thrive. And in today's hyper-connected, always-on world, this isn't an occasional annoyance. For many, it's a chronic state. But what if I told you that you can construct a powerful internal defense system? A mental framework so robust it allows you to navigate this complexity not just with resilience, but with clarity and purpose. That's what we're here to build today, your cognitive fortress. This isn't about simplistic life hacks or ignoring reality. It's about understanding the mechanics of overwhelm, drawing on insights from psychology, neuroscience, and timeless wisdom, and then forging practical, actionable tools to shield your mind and reclaim your focus. Why does this matter? Because a mind constantly under siege by overwhelm can't perform optimally. It can't create, it can't connect deeply, and it certainly can't experience sustained well-being. Building your cognitive fortress is an investment in your productivity, your peace of mind, and your overall potential. So, let's lay the first stone. Before we can build our fortress, we need to understand the nature of the siege. What exactly is overwhelm, and why does it feel so overwhelming? At its core, overwhelm occurs when the cognitive load, the total amount of mental effort being used in your working memory, exceeds your capacity. Think of your brain like a computer processor with limited RAM. Too many demanding applications open at once, and the system starts to lag, freeze, or even crash. There are several key assailants contributing to this cognitive overload in modern life. Information overload. We're bombarded by an unprecedented volume of data. Emails, news, social media, notifications. Our brains weren't designed to process this constant fire hose. The result? A feeling of being perpetually behind and mentally cluttered. Task saturation. Many of us juggle multiple roles and responsibilities, each with its own set of tasks and deadlines. The myth of multitasking further exacerbates this, leading to fragmented attention and reduced efficiency. Decision fatigue. Every choice, big or small, consumes mental energy. From what to wear, to complex work decisions, to managing family needs, the sheer number of decisions we make daily can deplete our executive functions, making even simple choices feel burdensome. Emotional spillover. Stress from one area of life, say a conflict at work, can easily bleed into others, coloring our perceptions and reducing our capacity to handle further demands. Our emotional state is intrinsically linked to our cognitive capacity. And this isn't just about feeling stressed in the moment. Chronic overwhelm is a direct path to burnout. The World Health Organization recognizes burnout as an occupational phenomenon characterized by 3 dimensions: feelings of energy depletion or exhaustion, increased mental distance from one's job, or feelings of negativity or cynicism related to one's job, and reduced professional efficacy. Think of overwhelm as the persistent rain, and burnout as the flood that eventually breaks through. It's a state of profound mental, emotional, and often physical exhaustion. Recognizing these dynamics is the first crucial step. It's not a personal failing to feel overwhelmed. It's often a natural response to an environment that places extraordinary demands on our cognitive architecture. The good news? Our brains are also remarkably adaptable. And by understanding the enemy, we can begin to strategize our defense. What does science tell us about how our minds react, and more importantly, how we can retrain them? That's what we'll explore next. To build an effective cognitive fortress, we need insights from the architects of the mind, psychologists and neuroscientists. They provide the blueprint for understanding our internal landscape. From psychology, a foundational concept is the locus of control. Do you generally believe you have control over the outcomes in your life, internal locus, or that external forces dictate them, external locus? Overwhelm can push us towards an external locus, making us feel like victims of circumstance. Cultivating an internal locus, focusing on what is within our control, is a cornerstone of resilience. This ties into Martin Seligman's work on learned helplessness versus learned optimism. When repeatedly faced with uncontrollable stressors, we can learn to feel helpless. But crucially, we can also learn optimism, the ability to view setbacks as temporary, specific, and external, rather than permanent, pervasive, and personal. This optimistic explanatory style is a powerful buffer against overwhelm. Now, let's look at the brain. When we feel threatened or overwhelmed, a small almond-shaped structure called the amygdala kicks into high gear. This is our brain's alarm system, triggering the fight-flight-freeze response. Useful for acute physical danger, but less so for an overflowing inbox. When the amygdala is chronically activated by perceived threats, like too many demands, it can essentially hijack the prefrontal cortex. The PFC is our brain's CEO, responsible for rational thought, planning, decision-making, and emotional regulation. When the PFC is offline due to amygdala dominance, our ability to think clearly and manage tasks plummet. This is why, when you're overwhelmed, even simple tasks feel impossible. But here's the empowering truth from neuroscience: neuroplasticity. Our brains are not fixed. They can change and adapt based on our experiences, thoughts, and behaviors. Every time you practice a new coping strategy, a new way of thinking, you are physically rewiring your brain, strengthening neural pathways that support resilience and calm, and weakening those that lead to reactivity. This means we can train our PFC to stay online more effectively, even under pressure. We can learn to modulate our amygdala's response. This isn't magic, it's the brain's natural ability to adapt, and we can consciously direct that adaptation. So, the psychological insight is that our mindset and explanatory styles matter immensely. We can cultivate agency and optimism. The neuroscientific insight is that our brains are wired for survival, but can be rewired for resilience. Overwhelm isn't just a feeling, it's a neurobiological state we can influence. Understanding this interplay between our psychology and our brain's mechanics gives us leverage points. We're not just passively experiencing overwhelm. We have the capacity to actively reshape our response to it. So, how do we translate this scientific understanding into the actual building blocks of our cognitive fortress? We need core principles, timeless strategies that form the load-bearing walls of our mental defenses. That's our next chapter. With the science as our blueprint, let's lay the foundation of our cognitive fortress. These are 4 core principles that, when consistently applied, will dramatically reduce your susceptibility to overwhelm. Strategic ignorance, the art of conscious filtering. In an age of information abundance, attention is our most valuable currency. Strategic ignorance isn't about being uninformed. It's about being selectively informed.
It's the conscious decision to filter out noise, distractions, and non-essential information so you can focus on what truly matters. Think of it like curating your information diet. Just as you wouldn't eat everything put in front of you, you don't need to consume every piece of information thrown your way. Audit your inputs. Unsubscribe from unnecessary newsletters. Unfollow social media accounts that drain your energy or provide little value, and turn off non-essential notifications on your phone and computer.
Embrace JOMO, joy of missing out. Recognize that you don't need to know everything or be part of every conversation. Define your need to know. For your work and personal goals, what information is absolutely critical? Focus intensely on that and be ruthless about ignoring the rest. Greg McKeown's essentialism is a great philosophy here. If it's not a clear yes, then it's a clear no. Strategic ignorance isn't about closing yourself off. It's about opening yourself up to what's truly important by clearing away the clutter. Emotional detachment, the power of stoic reframing. Overwhelm is often amplified by our emotional reactions to stressors. Emotional detachment, drawing heavily from Stoic philosophy, isn't about suppressing emotions or becoming unfeeling. It's about creating a space between an event and your response to it. It's about observing your emotions without being controlled by them. The Stoics taught that we don't react to events themselves, but to our judgments about them. It is not events that disturb people, it is their judgments concerning them, said Epictetus. Practice the view from above. When feeling overwhelmed, mentally step back and see the situation from a broader, more objective perspective. Imagine looking down on your situation from a mountaintop. How significant is this current stressor in the grand scheme of your life? Dichotomy of control. Clearly distinguish between what you can control and what you cannot. Focus your energy entirely on the former and practice acceptance for the latter. Most external events, other people's actions, and global happenings are outside your direct control. Your responses, your choices, your efforts, these are within your control. Cognitive reframing. Challenge and reframe negative thoughts. Is this situation truly a catastrophe, or is it a manageable challenge? Is this failure a dead end, or a learning opportunity? Emotional detachment allows you to respond to challenges with clarity and reason, rather than being swept away by immediate emotional turbulence. Proactive structuring. Intentional design of your time and environment. Overwhelm thrives in chaos and lack of structure. Proactive structuring means intentionally designing your days, tasks, and environment to support focus and minimize friction. Instead of constantly reacting to incoming demands, you create a framework that guides your actions. Time blocking, task batching. Allocate specific blocks of time for specific types of tasks. For example, check emails only at set times. Group similar tasks together, for example, all calls, all writing, to leverage mental momentum. Prioritization systems. Use frameworks like the Eisenhower matrix, urgent, important, to decide what to work on first, what to schedule, what to delegate, and what to eliminate. Environment design. Optimize your physical and digital workspaces to minimize distractions and cues for unproductive behavior. A clear desk, a quiet space for deep work, or using website blockers can make a huge difference. Single tasking focus. Commit to doing one thing at a time. The human brain is not designed for effective multitasking, despite the pervasive myth. Switching between tasks incurs a cognitive cost. Proactive structuring creates boundaries and predictability, reducing the mental load of constantly deciding what to do next. Active recovery, systematic recharging of your mental batteries. You wouldn't expect a marathon runner to perform without rest and fuel. Similarly, your mind needs regular, active recovery to function optimally and resist overwhelm. This isn't just about vegging out in front of the TV. It's about intentional practices that restore cognitive and emotional resources. Prioritize sleep. Sleep is non-negotiable for cognitive function, emotional regulation, and memory consolidation. Aim for consistent, quality sleep. Mindfulness and meditation. Even short, regular mindfulness practices can reduce stress, improve focus, and increase self-awareness, helping you recognize early signs of overwhelm. Movement and nature. Physical activity is a powerful stress reliever and cognitive enhancer. Spending time in nature has also been shown to have restorative effects on attention. Schedule downtime and unfocused time. Build breaks into your day and ensure you have periods where your mind can wander, reflect, or simply be still. This is often when creative insights emerge. Engage in restorative hobbies. Activities you find genuinely enjoyable and absorbing, unrelated to work, can be deeply replenishing. Active recovery isn't a luxury, it's a fundamental component of a sustainable, high-performing mental system. It's the maintenance work that keeps your fortress strong. These 4 principles, strategic ignorance, emotional detachment, proactive structuring, and active recovery, form the unshakable foundation of your cognitive fortress. They are not quick fixes, but enduring philosophies to integrate into your life. Now, let's equip ourselves with specific tools to build upon this foundation. With our foundational principles in place, it's time to forge the actual walls and defenses of our cognitive fortress. These are practical, actionable mental tools you can deploy immediately when overwhelm threatens. Mindful transition rituals. We often move from one task, meeting, or context to another without any mental break, carrying residual stress and cognitive load with us. Mindful transition rituals are brief, intentional practices to create a mental reset between activities. Define your triggers. Identify common transition points in your day, e.g., finishing a big report, before a difficult conversation, ending your workday, arriving home. Choose a simple ritual. This could be taking 3 to 5 deep, conscious breaths, a short mindfulness exercise, e.g., noticing sights and sounds around you for 60 seconds, stretching or changing posture, getting a glass of water and mindfully drinking it, briefly reviewing what you accomplished and what's next. Be consistent. The power is in the regular practice. These rituals, though small, create mental punctuation marks in your day. They help you close mental tabs from previous tasks, allowing you to approach the next one with a fresher, more focused mind. This prevents the cumulative buildup of mental clutter. The energy audit. Overwhelm isn't just about having too much to do, it's also about depleted mental and emotional energy. An energy audit helps you identify what activities, people, and environments drain your energy versus what recharges you. Track for a week. For 1 week, pay attention to your energy levels throughout the day. At various points, jot down: what task/activity were you just doing? Who were you interacting with? What was your environment like? How did you feel energetically afterwards? Drained, neutral, energized? Identify patterns. At the end of the week, review your notes. What are your consistent energy drainers? What are your reliable rechargers? Drainers might include negative colleagues, cluttered spaces, excessive screen time, certain types of tasks, constant interruptions. Rechargers might include meaningful work, supportive conversations, time in nature, creative activities, focused deep work, exercise.
Based on your audit, minimize/mitigate drainers. Can you reduce exposure to certain people? Can you declutter your workspace? Can you batch draining tasks? Maximize/schedule rechargers. Intentionally build more recharging activities into your day and week, especially before or after demanding tasks.
This audit provides personalized insights into managing your most precious resource, your energy, which is fundamental to combating overwhelm. Single-tasking supremacy and the Pomodoro technique. We touched on this earlier, but it bears repeating as a specific tool. Consciously commit to single-tasking. Multitasking is a myth when it comes to focused cognitive work. It's actually rapid task switching, which incurs a cognitive switching penalty, increasing errors and stress. A powerful way to enforce single-tasking is the Pomodoro technique. Choose a task. Select one specific task to work on. Set a timer, traditionally 25 minutes, 1 Pomodoro. Work undistracted. Focus solely on that task until the timer rings. No email, no social media, no other interruptions. If a distraction arises, jot it down and return to it later. Take a short break. When the timer rings, take a 5-minute break. Stretch, get water, look away from your screen. Repeat. After 4 Pomodoros, take a longer break, 15 to 30 minutes. The Pomodoro technique breaks down daunting tasks into manageable chunks, creates a sense of urgency and focus, and builds in regular recovery. It trains your attention and makes it easier to resist the allure of distractions, which are major fuel for overwhelm. These 5 tools, the triage and delegate matrix, worry postponement, mindful transitions, the energy audit, and single tasking with Pomodoro, are powerful weapons in your arsenal against overwhelm. They are the practical applications of our foundational principles, ready to be deployed. But building a fortress is not a one-time event. It requires ongoing reinforcement. A fortress, once built, needs regular maintenance and reinforcement to withstand sustained sieges. The same is true for your cognitive defenses. Let's look at strategies for building long-term resilience against overwhelm and burnout. Develop resilience rituals, morning and evening bookends. How you start and end your day significantly impacts your mental state. Morning ritual. Instead of immediately diving into emails or news, which can trigger stress, design a morning ritual that grounds you. This could include hydration, light movement, mindfulness, journaling, or setting clear intentions for the day. This proactively sets a calm, focused tone. Evening ritual. Create a wind-down routine to transition from work activity to rest. This might involve disconnecting from screens, reading, light stretching, reflecting on the day, gratitude or lessons learned, or preparing for the next day to reduce morning rush. This aids sleep quality and mental closure. These rituals act as protective buffers, fortifying your mind at the start and end of each day. Cultivate self-compassion, especially during setbacks. You will still feel overwhelmed at times. The fortress isn't about never feeling pressure. It's about how you respond when you do. When you stumble or feel swamped, practice self-compassion instead of self-criticism. Self-kindness, treating yourself with understanding and support rather than harsh judgment. Common humanity, recognizing that struggle and imperfection are part of the shared human experience. You're not alone in feeling this way. Mindfulness, observing your negative thoughts and emotions with balance, without suppressing or exaggerating them. When you're overwhelmed and make a mistake or can't cope as well as you'd like, self-criticism just adds another layer of stress. Self-compassion allows you to learn, recover, and re-engage more effectively.
The power of if-then planning for triggers. Identify common triggers that typically lead you to feel overwhelmed, e.g., a sudden influx of emails, an unexpected urgent request, a particular type of meeting. Then create if-then plans, a concept from psychologist Peter Gallwitzer. If trigger situation X happens, then I will pre-planned response Y. If I receive more than 10 new emails in an hour, then I will take 5 deep breaths and use the triage matrix before responding to any. If I start to feel decision fatigue in the afternoon, then I will take a 10-minute walk outside. If my boss gives me an unexpected urgent task, then I will ask for clarification on its priority relative to my existing commitments. Pre-deciding your response automates adaptive behaviors when you're under pressure, and your PFC might be compromised. This reduces in-the-moment cognitive load. Seek support and build a strong social network. Your cognitive fortress isn't meant to be an isolated tower. Strong social connections are crucial for resilience. Talk about it. Share your feelings of overwhelm with trusted friends, family, mentors, or a therapist. Voicing your experience can lessen its power. Seek practical help. Don't be afraid to ask for help, delegate, or negotiate deadlines when appropriate. Nurture relationships. Invest time in relationships that are supportive and uplifting. Social connection buffers stress and provides perspective.
Remember, even the strongest fortress benefits from allies. Building long-term resilience is an ongoing practice. It's about integrating these strategies into the fabric of your life, so your cognitive fortress becomes not just a structure, but a dynamic, adaptable part of who you are. We've covered a lot of ground today on our journey to construct your cognitive fortress. We deconstructed the nature of modern overwhelm, explored the psychological and neuroscientific blueprints for resilience, laid down foundational principles like strategic ignorance and emotional detachment, and equipped you with an arsenal of practical mental tools. Finally, we looked at how to reinforce these defenses for the long haul. The key takeaway is this: you are the architect and builder of your mental well-being. Overwhelm is not an inevitable fate. It is a challenge that can be met with understanding, strategy, and consistent practice. Building this cognitive fortress isn't about achieving a state of constant, unshakable bliss. Life will always present challenges, pressures, and unexpected storms. Instead, it's about forging the capacity to navigate these storms with greater clarity, emotional stability, and purpose. It's about knowing you have the internal resources to manage demands without losing yourself in the process. The transformation we're aiming for here at MindForge is from feeling chronically besieged to feeling capably fortified, from reactive and depleted to proactive and resilient. Now, for the most important part, action. Knowledge is potential power. Application is true power. My challenge to you this week is this: choose one tool or principle we discussed today, just one. Perhaps it's practicing the triage and delegate matrix each morning. Maybe it's implementing a 15-minute worry postponement session. Or perhaps it's starting a mindful transition ritual between tasks. Commit to applying that one thing consistently for the next 7 days. Observe its impact. Notice the small shifts. That's how lasting change is forged, one intentional action at a time. I'd love to hear which tool you're choosing and how it goes. Share your experiences and insights in the comments below. What part of your fortress are you working on first? If you found this blueprint valuable and want more tools to master your mind, build resilience, and enhance your cognitive clarity, Make sure to subscribe to MindForge and hit that notification bell. We're dedicated to providing practical, empowering, and intellectually rigorous content to help you thrive. Thank you for joining me today. Go forth and build your fortress.